Want to have some fun? I'm the Mazda protege. Come on, let's go for a drive. Bring all your stuff and all your friends. I got the most room in my class. Bring some tunes. Louder? Great! I'm also a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. So, now that you have nothing to worry about, get ready to have more fun than you paid for. Come on, let's go for a drive.
Choose $2,000 cash back or 2.4% financing on the Mazda Protege LX.
You're watching
Philadelphia NBC10.
Serving Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
And Delaware.
now live
Citizens News
at
10.
11.
Keep your eye on the skies tonight. There could be springtime snow headed our way.
The exclusive Earth Watch is tracking some nasty weather out there. Good evening, everyone. I'm Siani Lee.
And I'm Tim Lake.
Our top story tonight, is this spring or winter? The season has officially changed, but you can't tell by the weather. News 10 in Bucks County tonight. Here's the scene in downtown Doylestown. A steady drizzle made the streets and sidewalks slick tonight, and folks bundled up against the cold. But there is snow in the forecast tonight for our viewing area.
Let's get the latest now from News 10 meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz. Glenn.
Well, it is snowing already in parts of the area. It's fairly light. The temperatures are at or above the freezing mark, so it's melting on the roads that are relatively warm. But let's show you where it's doing what. In general, the snow area extends from the Poconos into central Pennsylvania. Up in the Poconos, winter storm warning in effect for some heavy snow. A mixture around Allentown and Reading, some snow down to Lancaster, even some snow in northeast Philly, around the Wilmington area, and even other parts of Philadelphia. So it's just starting to mix in right now. It will turn over to all snow across much of the area overnight tonight. And when you get up in the morning, a little bit of snow. But we'll tell you how much and talk about the Sunday forecast and the 5-day a little bit later.
Okay, Glenn, thank you. Despite this weather, there is good news on the News 10 strike watch tonight. SEPTA transport workers say there will be no strike tonight. But both sides of the bargaining table offer different stories on how close they are to a settlement. It is 1 week now since the strike deadline is passed, and the union says SEPTA is now reviewing the transport workers' 6th contract proposal. The stop-and-go, hour-to-hour negotiations have SEPTA riders feeling fed up.
Dice every day. Play with people that got to get to work and stuff like that.
I hope that they come to a resolve.
Got you uneasy?
Uneasy, very uneasy. I'm on my way to work now.
I'm like always on my toes because I go to school and it's like, I'm not sure whether I'm going to make it to school in the morning or not.
Any strike, by the way, would halt service to some 450,000 SEPTA riders. Right now, let's get the latest on the strike watch from News 10's Mike Strug. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Tim. Right now, there are no talks going on here at the Wyndham Franklin Plaza as SEPTA reviews the latest proposal from the TWU. But that review seems like little more than a formality. For now, at least, there are buses to run to. No strike yet. And hear the union tell it, settlement may just be a matter of dotting some I's and crossing some T's. They say their latest contract proposal saves SEPTA $3 million.
In other words, wage, pension, and benefit improvements that are in the union's proposal would be paid for by achieving savings in a variety of areas. Okay, that's a very reasonable position for any employer to be in.
Sounds great, until you hear from SEPTA.
In fact, the union's proposal that was given to us today has a cost to the authority of somewhere around $20 million over the 3 years, not a savings of $3 million. I think I can characterize it in a couple of words: totally unacceptable.
Despite that characterization, the union still seems hopeful.
I think the numbers, looking at the numbers, do show that an agreement is there to be made, so long as both parties are reasonable about their expectations. Thank you.
SEPTA, of course, insists that the TWU isn't being reasonable, certainly not with its latest proposal.
Which, as I said, moves backwards from where we were the last time he handed us a document, which, by the way, moved backwards from the last time he handed us a document, which, by the way, I can tell you, moved backwards from the last time he handed us a document.
What was SEPTA's unofficial reaction to the latest company proposal? They're expected to offer their official reaction to the union negotiators tomorrow. Live in Center City, I'm Mike Strug, News 10.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And so it continues tonight. SEPTA union leaders, by the way, have the okay from the rank and file to strike if necessary. Now, today at their union hall in Spring Garden, SEPTA workers rallied around union boss Steve Brookins. They're challenging Mayor Rendell to step in and help resolve the stalemate. And union workers say they are unified.
We're together. We're going to stay together. No matter what happens, we're together. It's all up to the boss. The boss said we walk, we walk.
Again tonight, a recap. There is no strike scheduled. Both sides continue talking this hour tonight.
On the news tonight, a Logan man is hospitalized tonight after confronting police with a weapon. News 10 at the scene in the 5100 block of North Camac Street. Police tell News 10 that they got a report of a man on the street with a gun at around 8 o'clock tonight. And when they arrived, the unidentified 21-year-old man refused to drop his weapon. Gunshots were exchanged and the suspect was hit in his leg and wrist. Residents in the southeast are cleaning up a day after killer tornadoes hit that area. 11 people died when a twister tore through a 10-mile stretch of Hall County in the northeastern part of the Peach State in Georgia. More than 80 other people were injured and hundreds are homeless tonight. Property damage is estimated at $13.5 million. In Stoneville, North Carolina, the picture is just as devastating. 2 people died when yesterday's tornado virtually flattened the historic town. Rescue workers searched for any trapped victims. North Carolina's governor declared Stoneville a disaster area. Before the twister, townspeople had dreamed of becoming a tourist destination with antique shops and bed and breakfast inns.
There could be a showdown soon between President Clinton and independent counsel Ken Starr over grand jury testimony in the Monica Lewinsky case. News 10 national correspondent Bob Beard reports now the president is ready to invoke executive privilege to keep his top aides from talking.
Mr. Clinton spoke Saturday morning from the White House to a town hall meeting. The subject, saving Social Security.
Many people are afraid that anything you do to Social Security is political dynamite. I think it's worse dynamite to walk away.
But some of the president's top aides would love to walk away from another kind of political dynamite, testifying in the Monica Lewinsky matter. The president is awaiting a ruling from a federal judge on a move to invoke executive privilege, rarely used, to keep Clinton friend and advisor Bruce Lindsay, aide Sidney Blumenthal, and other high-level aides in the White House from having to testify about their conversations with the president. The theory is those should be private so a president can get candid advice.
I don't think I should comment specifically, but as a general matter, it's very helpful when we can move the investigation forward and the grand jury can get all the information that it needs.
Starr, meantime, is apparently backing off from one witness in the Lewinsky investigation. The lawyer for Sherry Densuk, an aspiring actress from New York, told NBC News he received a letter from Starr Saturday postponing her appearance indefinitely.
That lawsuit is politically motivated.
And it's now up to a federal judge in Little Rock to decide whether to throw out the Paula Jones civil case. The president's lawyer filed 200 pages of documents Friday, calling Jones' lawsuit groundless and a smear campaign. And the president's hoping for more positive publicity soon, leaving his lawyers behind Sunday for an 11-day, 5-nation tour of Africa. In Washington, I'm Bob Beard for News 10.
Much more still to come tonight on News 10 at 11. Police are back at the scene of a tragedy trying to prevent another one. We'll explain all that in a moment.
Also tonight, despite recent health problems, the Pope embarks on a big trip. We'll have the details as News 10 at 11 continues.
You're watching News 10 at 11. Monday on News 10, first at 4, with Renee Chenault and Larry Menti. Philadelphia's first news at 4 p.m.
The very latest on a mobster rubbed out on a South Philly street corner.
And all the world turns to Hollywood today. We'll have a live report from Tinseltown as the Oscars get underway on News 10, first at 4.
More live, local, late-breaking news for Philadelphia. Monday on News 10, first at 4.
How come these things are so impossible to put on?
The cargo area inside the new Audi A4 Avant.
Remember the first time we did this?
Converts to a totally flat surface in seconds.
Oops.
It's for people who've fallen in love with the blast-to-drive A4 sports sedan, but could use a little more room.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I love it in the morning.
The Audi A4 Avant. Get ready for the ride of your life.
Having heard us describe the problems with our old communications programs, the MCI team is prepared to demonstrate.
You don't want to get it wrong, especially this time of year.
Every job has its pressures. Ours just happened to be barometric. Weather Center AM, this morning and every morning.
In the next half hour, Weather Center PM, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center PM continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Well, spring is officially here, but you wouldn't know it looking at the Northeast.
Nope.
Good evening. Welcome to Weather Center. I'm Kim Perez.
And I'm Warren Madden. Yes, indeedy, the Northeast is not the place to be if you are ready for spring. But if you love winter, it is the cat's meow. I don't know if cats really like winter.
I don't think so.
Let's not get into that. Let's talk about what's happening with the weather right now. And what we're looking at is a developing coastal storm that's now off the coast of Long Island, heading northeastward, and it is picking up strength. We're seeing some stronger winds now whipping in off of the waters of Massachusetts Bay into eastern New England. And you can really see on the satellite picture, earlier this evening, this line of clouds was pretty much straight north-south. But as we've gone through the evening, you can really see it start bending backwards to the west here. The reason why is that our storm system is deepening. That means its central pressure is falling. It's becoming a stronger storm. And so its circulation is strengthening. It's starting to pull this moisture back around out of the east now, and then it'll be carrying it over across New England and into eastern New York, and then down into northeastern Pennsylvania. That's where we think the snow line, the snow belt, is going to set up the heaviest amounts of snow. We'll take a look at that momentarily, but I first wanted to take a look at the radar here into New England. You can see some heavier precipitation moving up across Connecticut. Right along the shoreline, it is rain. Once you get up away from the shoreline, it changes over to snow. Likewise, right along the coast, we're still seeing some rain because that wind is really coming in off the water. So right now there's drizzle being reported as we look into around Logan, but you head up into Lexington, Hanscom, and you're reporting some light snow right there on right around 128. So it doesn't take too far many miles inland before you get into that snow belt. And those winds are very blustery. We now have gale warnings up from Eastport, Maine, all the way down to Little Leg Inlet. That's a bit of good news, though, because we used to have storm warnings up here, and the National Weather Service has recently downgraded those to just gale warnings. So winds won't be quite as gusty, but still, if you have loose items sitting outside, you might want to bring them in just to make sure you aren't chasing them down the street tomorrow morning or worrying about did they end up in the neighbor's yard. We're also seeing snow heading back into New York State. Binghamton was reporting some moderate snow not too long ago. And then again, that moisture will start wrapping around out of New England, getting back into the Catskills as we go on through the overnight hours and into the day on your Sunday. Now, here's where we think the heaviest stripe is going to be, the 6 to 12-inch stripe from Maine down through southern New Hampshire into the Berkshires, the Catskills, and on down to the Poconos. And then watch out also here into the northern part of New England, where we'll be seeing a bit more. 34 right now in Boston and New York, 29 in Albany, so the freezing line very, very close there. Here's what we're looking at in a little farther south. Washington seeing some rain heading far to the east toward Baltimore, heading over to the eastern shore. And as we look into the southeast, pretty quiet but chilly, with temperatures down to about 38 degrees right now in Atlanta. Birmingham checking in at 41. Let's find out about the western half of the nation now, and tell us all about it. Here's Kim.
Thanks, Warren. Well, you see that front approaching? Well, ahead of it, we're seeing some heavy rainfall. Here it is on satellite, and you can see the brighter colors indicating where probably some of the heavier rain is located right now. The upper level low, the main low, is still well off to the west here. Until we get rid of that, well, we're probably going to see this area of rain persist into the Pacific Northwest. Here's our front again coming on shore. With it, heavy rainfall, moderate to heavy rain. Already reports of anywhere from a ½ inch up to an inch of rainfall, especially here along the coast and in the foothills of some of the mountain ranges, the coastal ranges here. Portland and Seattle, a few showers out there tonight. Once the front does move through, it should be more showery tomorrow, which is some good news for you. And in Salem and Eugene, we've also seen a little bit of rainfall here today. And again, the higher elevations seeing snow. And we're talking about higher elevations way up there. But in Portland, the city of roses, what a day for you today. It was dismal, I guess a day as you would expect in Portland, Oregon. Temperatures peaked in the 50s. Rain fell off and on during the day. And tonight the lows will be in the 40s with cloud cover. And tomorrow there'll be more rain. Again, it'll probably be more showery type precipitation. The good news is you may get close to 60 degrees if you want to look for a silver lining out there. All right, farther south, well, the heavy rain, this is where we're seeing it in Northern California. So you folks in Eureka and also in Ukiah maybe later on may see a little bit of rain. But in San Francisco, we picked about a 1/10 of an inch earlier today. Looks like most of that rainfall is off to your north, but it could get close to you, we think, later on tonight. And rain even spreading into the Columbia River Basin and into the Snake River Valley. A little bit of snow out there? Well, very little. We're talking about elevations anywhere from 6,500 feet to 8,500 feet here in the southern Cascades. So all the passes are clear if you are traveling tonight or tomorrow morning. Florence to Point St. George, we have gale warnings out there tonight. Gusty winds, expect southerly winds, and on the backside of this, southwesterly winds once the front gets through. Mild temperatures today across the southwest. Beautiful day in Phoenix. Great day to hit the golf course. Now with a look at the storm in the northeast and what's happening with that, here's Warren.
Golf courses probably won't be used for golfing in the northeast, at least tomorrow, because we're going to continue to see the snow. The reason why is that we have high pressure here in eastern Canada. That's got the winds coming down from the northeast. That's bringing some cold air down from around Newfoundland and Labrador. The low to the south, bringing the moisture around from the east, putting them all together. You have snow, especially inland, and then some mixed precipitation along the coast and rain farther south. Will it change as we go into the day on Sunday? One-word answer, no. High still in place, winds still out of the northeast as our low tracks up the coast. So while the northeast flow is still in place, the snow stays in place as well. And that's why we think there's going to be that stripe of heavier snow. So watch out into the Berkshires, the Catskills, the Poconos, and up into southern New Hampshire and Maine. Let's find out a little more about what's happening across the rest of the nation for the forecast. Here's Kim.
All right, well, Sunday morning, when you wake up, you go out to get the newspaper, you're going to have to put the coat on and maybe the gloves in some areas. It's going to be cold. If you go out to get the bagels and coffee here in Manhattan, maybe Tony's Bagels, well, it looks like it's going to be cold with temperatures in the 20s and maybe even snowing there in New York City tomorrow morning, something you haven't seen a lot of this year for sure. In Boston, Bostonians, you've been starved for the snow. We've had some reports from some of you folks that you'd like to see some snowfall. You may pick up a couple of inches tomorrow afternoon as the low pulls away. We get more northerly winds. We drain some of that cooler air southward. Right now, temperatures in the 30s, low 30s, dew points around 32. So it's kind of hard to get anything really out of it right now. So We'll see snow later on tomorrow for you folks in Boston. And further west, it means more rainfall as our front still trying to come in. Looks like a low developing here along the front, so expect the rain to continue throughout the afternoon in Northern California. A few showers still expected in Portland and also in Oregon. Heavy rain along the coast, especially in California, Northern California, with highs tomorrow. Again, very nice in the southwest, but again, the northeast, well, maybe just stay in and watch us.
That's a very good plan, a very good plan.
You don't want to get it wrong, especially this time of year.
Every